What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Big news around the NFL this weekend and this week. Going to be talking about the trades. DK Metcalf, a Steeler. Christian Kirk actually ended up getting traded to the Texans. Evan Engram was released. Davante Adams is a Ram. Talked about how I thought that could happen. Made a lot of sense to me. Aaron Jones is back with the Vikings, and Chris Godwin is back with the Bucs. Going to be talking about that. Going to be doing some drafts. For those who subscribe to beatbestball.com, going to have new rankings this week, both for Underdog and DraftKings officially released their tournament, so going to get a ranking set out there as well. Some minor adjustments I want to make, not free agency related. But yeah, probably let free agency play out for a day or so. No, I mean, I think the we could start there. The Rams and Davante Adams. I mean, it makes sense in a lot of ways where, I mean, Davante Adams clearly has a year, maybe two left at a high level in the NFL. Maybe none. And then you got the Rams, who, how many more years are you going to get out of Stafford? You got the rumors forever that McVay might retire. So it makes sense to me. I didn't assume Davante was a 1-to-1 to Rodgers. And he gets a quarterback upgrade, arguably, right? So I think it's a boost to Matt Stafford's fantasy value. And I think that we're going to have Davante Adams in the Cooper Kupp role. And no change the Puka's fantasy value, in my opinion. Gonna remain pretty high on him. But Davante, he was going around in the 5th round. I think he should go where DK Metcalf was previously going. So DK Metcalf was going as high as like a 4th round pick, some like 3-4 turn. I think I'll share a draft board here, just for a visual representation. When you consider where he's been going in drafts and basically every single news item, unless it's a negative news item, players will jump for a day or so. So I'll probably have him ranked. This is an older draft before some of this news. You can see Davante Adams went pick 56, so 5th round. I think he's going to climb into this 3-4 turn area. So going around Mike Evans, going around Jameson Williams, going around Devonta Smith. DK Metcalf would sometime go here when we thought he might get traded to the Packers. So, yeah, I think here, I'm not too into it if he's at the 2-3 turn, which is what Kupp was previously, right? Like, I get it. I still think Davante has quite a bit of risk where, I mean, how many guys do we have to do this with? DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, out of nowhere, Tyreek Hill, different for him, but out of nowhere, these guys are Julio Jones. They're viewed as dust pretty quick. By the way, had my 10-year alumni weekend, so that's why the voice is a little deeper. Did some damage this weekend, if you would. The Chuck saying he prefers the crazy hair aesthetic. Me too, Chuck. Moving on, DK Metcalf traded to the Steelers. Now, I really want to see what ends up there with, because it sounds what's happening is the Steelers want Justin Fields back. Justin Fields, though, may test free agency, and he might go to the Jets. So we literally might get the Jets and the Steelers basically swapping quarterbacks. If DK Metcalf is with Justin Fields, that is not good, right? So Metcalf, he was going at the 3-4 turn or the 3-4 turn at times here. I think this puts him firmly in the 5-6 range here. Until we find out who his quarterback is. Where, by the way, guys, Twitter is down. So if there's news, please let me know. Relevant news to discuss. Twitter has been terrible the day of free agency drops. So hard to. I'm hoping there's something Bears centric. Anyways, finishing up on this. I think Metcalf gonna lower him down to this range. If he gets Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, I think that's pretty. That actually puts him back, closer in this 4-5 range where I'm fine with. Rodgers is not what he once was, but yeah, I've said for a long time, when I talked to Davis about Justin Fields, I was like, it doesn't make sense to me. I think they'll do Rodgers. I'll think they'll do something like that. But yeah, if it's Rodgers throwing to Metcalf and Pickens, that's fine to me. He can still throw 300 yards. He improved after the Achilles. So that would put him closer to the 4-5 range. So really no change for him. Minor dip for Pickens as well, right? Where, I think Metcalf is just a better wide receiver with Pickens. So, yeah, Metcalf, Pickens, similar guys. They're both going to win down the field. But you could see a fun offense with Rodgers just chucking go balls to them. Moving on, Aaron Jones is back with the Vikings, and a lot of guys who are just not bothering to do any research, won't take any shots, are being like, well, the Vikings are going to draft a running back. And maybe, but they have 4 picks in the draft, which includes a first-round pick, probably not going to be a running back, and then they have a third-round comp pick, and then they have 2 fifths. So if your favorite fantasy analyst is telling you how they're worried about a rookie landing there, I'd ask them with which pick. Now, if they are going to land a running back, what happens is, in my opinion, they trade back in the first, right? They pick up a second, whatever, but that probably doesn't happen, right? If it's Aaron Jones versus a third-round running back, I'm probably siding with Aaron Jones there. So I've been ahead of ADP on Aaron Jones this whole time, and I always assumed he would go back to the Vikings. And I think he deserves to be in this group of James Conner, Tony Pollard, David Montgomery, Ken Walker, Kamara. There's, I would be willing to take him over some of these guys. And he doesn't really deserve to be in the group with Ramondre. Which seems like a significant tier below. So good for Aaron Jones fantasy value. Obviously, health is always the biggest thing with him. Moving on the NFL news, Chris Godwin is back with the Bucs. Now, this is a disaster for the Patriots. The Patriots didn't trade for Christian Kirk. They didn't trade for DK Metcalf. Sounds like they were trying to go for Chris Godwin. I think the fear for Pats fans is you got Vrabel coming in there the first year. Is Vrabel wanting to see what he has in Drake May for a year? What is happening there? So Patriots are staring down the barrel of $20 million to Darius Slayton a year. Anyways, Godwin, I think it's pretty good for his fantasy value. Him and Mike with the Bucs. He got a lot of money, so makes me a little bit less concerned about his health. He did have a down year off of his ACL. But yeah, I think Godwin with the money, I see no reason why he is, he could go in the Chris Olave range. He could go in the Addison range. So I think he deserves to be in the 5th. In the 4th, right? Is it going to be surprising if Godwin outscores Zay Flowers in Rome? Not really. So, seems like a good buy. Although the money doesn't necessarily mean he's fully healthy, right? Now, Twitter's been down all day. Elon hates the NFL. Christian Kirk was reportedly released, but then he got actually traded to a division rival in the Texans for a 7th round pick. Now, this is awesome for Christian Kirk. Big bump up in the rankings, in my opinion. He will be their Tank Dell, basically, right? So you got Nico, you got Kirk. I think it's a failure for a lot of teams to not. I mean, I am shocked that the Pats couldn't talk to the Jaguars and be like, hey, I'll give you our 6th round pick, which is a higher 6th round pick than the Texans have, or, our 7th, you know? So yeah, I mean, that's confusing to me. Kirk is a great wide receiver. I think it's good for CJ Stroud. It is good for Kirk. So I think he deserves to be in this range with Rashid Shaheed, Michael Pittman, Marvin Mims. So going to get a big bump up for me. Xavier Worthy was arrested, and then those charges were dropped. So really, there's no change to his. Nothing should happen to him. Though, I still think I like Jameson Williams versus Worthy. I've kind of been on the Jameson Williams side there. Devonta Smith versus Worthy, close. But yeah, he deserves to be in this range. Hollywood Brown re-signs with the Chiefs for 1 year. He did that right after the Worthy arrest dropped. So I was kind of surprised he couldn't leverage that a little bit more. And yeah, it's good for Hollywood. 1 year deal. He seems like he can be in this range too, right? Is it going to be surprising if Hollywood and Kirk, who went in the 12th in this draft, outscore Quentin Johnston? No. Keenan, no. Michael Pittman, no. Bateman, no. Keon, no. Rashid Shaheed, no. Marvin Mims, no. Mooney, no. Cup, no. Downs, no. Jalen McMillan, no. That's all seems like a similar tier. We just have guys slotted in there. McMillan, obviously, a minor bump downside with Godwin back, but I'd still be down on buying Jalen McMillan because we don't know with Godwin health a little bit, and year 2, he was good year 1, so I'm not going to kill McMillan in my rankings. If people want to put him in the Rashid Shaheed, Marvin Mims range, okay, that seems fine. Moving on the, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how anyone didn't, how did the Jags not just hit up teams and be like, hey, Chargers, hey, Pats, here is Christian Kirk. Can you give us your 7th round pick? I mean, it's either a really bad sign for Kirk or it's really great for him. And I tend to think it's pretty great for him. Looks like we're getting news in right now, which is that Elijah Mitchell is with the Chiefs. And that's, I mean, I can't confirm that. People are just saying that in my YouTube chat, because again, I can't really get Twitter to load, although maybe it just loaded for me here. So let's see. Yeah, okay, we did get a load. So let's see. Aaron Rodgers getting close to signing a deal with the Steelers. So that would lead you to believe Fields to the Jets. And I think it's good for Rodgers, good for Metcalf and Pickens. Really bad for Garrett Wilson. Right? Garrett Wilson, he's going as a 3rd round pick right now. I mean, you do want to bet on talent to a certain extent, but I think it puts him closer to 3-4 turn with Fields, if that's how it happens. I think Mitchell to Kansas City is good for Mitchell. He can be the explosive guy. It is probably decent sign for Pacheco. I think it's good on all ends. Mitchell definitely becomes a guy worthy of getting drafted. I wouldn't go crazy there. Guys like that get cut all the time. The assumption is that Fields will be going to the Jets. Yes, if Rodgers goes to the Steelers. And Evan Engram was cut, so he can sign with anyone. And the assumption is, or the Broncos brought him in, so they might bring him in as the Joker role. It's okay, okay for both. And I think that is every bit of news so far. Again, X has been terrible today. Thanks, Elon. But yeah, I think we got most of it. Let's not do the what ifs, because I don't know, man. There's like infinite guys that could sign with the Chargers. Darius Slayton still out there. He's going to get some serious money. Diami Brown will probably get some nice money. The guys like Keenan, sure. Some guys could still get cut and or traded for. Well, obviously, if Fields goes to the Jets, he's starting. So yeah, if you guys missed it, we'll have a ranking update this week to reflect the trades and free agent deals. Right now, some winners of free agency. You would say a team like Buffalo, which didn't do anything fantasy relevant, but re-signed like all of their guys, leads you to believe they'll sign Cook. Some losers of free agency, definitely the Patriots sitting pat. I would say the Rams, probably winners, right? I don't think it's great for Kupp that, like, who's going to sign him. The Panthers, they did not do anything. They signed J.C. Horn. So, like in the fantasy realm, we tend to be like, oh, you didn't sign Chris Godwin, you lost. But that's not always the case, right? Cooper Kupp, you could see him with the Pats, actually. No, Puka should not get impacted for Davante. I think Davante could steal a lot of touchdowns, but you don't be so target dominant like Puka. Anyone who's like, oh, Puka should be a second round pick, get him in my drafts. Kupp to the Pats. Yeah, I could see that. The concern for JT Sanders is he had an injury. But no, I wouldn't worry about it. Like these Jag tight ends get big contracts all the time. I think we're going to do Gibbs right now. Don't have many Gibbs teams. I would prefer Saquon and Gibbs over Bijan. I think that's what I'll do in my next round of rankings is I'll probably have Jefferson ahead of Saquon and Gibbs and Bijan behind. Probably have Puka next to Jefferson. Brian Thomas. Yeah, right now it's Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, and a bag of chips in Jacksonville. Brenton Strange, a winner of free agency. Definitely gets a bump in the rankings. The the losers of free agency are definitely the Cowboys and Bengals because both of them didn't have urgency of signing their players. And now the price went way up, right? Like this is why it's like a huge win for teams like the Bills to be proactive. Josh Allen had 4 more years on his contract, but he signed for a relative, he got $250 million, and it's still team friendly. And the Bills put themselves in the position where they're not like the Bengals. They're not like the Cowboys, where if you drag your feet on these guys, the price goes up, right? Like Garrett Wilson getting so much money. I mean, I would say any expensive running back, somewhat concerning. But, Saquon got paid. He still got a great O-line. It's not going to be some, science is better than ever. Won't be surprising to me if he has another good year. He's not like a guy who I'd want to have at the expense of the elite wide receivers. Again, I think the people who think the lesson is just a jam first round running back from this past year aren't critically thinking. Yeah, why not? Let's do a JT Gibbs, little anchor running back. These drafts are so varying. Some drafts I get in are so running back heavy. Some are randomly quarterback heavy. Some are very wide receiver heavy, typically on stream. So just a wild mix. Why is Bijan just a tier below Gibbs and Saquon? He's obviously an awesome football player. He's a great bet for volume. He's just not as explosive as those guys. So when I draft a running back in best ball, I would rather bet on the guy who on 5 touches can score 2 80-yard touchdowns versus the guy who's going to get 30 carries a game, and I hope that they fall in the end zone 3 times. Let's see. Seeing if there's any other news. Again, Twitter's not loading for me, so we'll see. I'll let you guys be my news. The chat's the news. I'm into the Falcons offense. I'm very into Drake London. Therefore I'm taking a lot of Penix. I've historically been a Bijan guy, right? Obviously Bijan is a first round pick. I just think that this is far less rare. A 300-point running back, 350-point running back, than, the possibility to be like this, aka a 350-point wide receiver. Those are far more rare in the draft landscape. Sure, let's do Terry. Let's see if we get the Jaden Daniels whip around. So all these guys have big playability. Pretty nice in a game of best ball where when you think about the playoff weeks and what it takes to get out of pods, you want the guys who can just go off for huge games. Don't know who did that, so probably not Christian. And I don't think it's that interesting to content. You're curious about it, but I think most people are on to the next. You're going to have to deal with a 2-time finalist from this year's past Best Ball Mania instead. Gene T, definitely some risk. I think it's defensible to take CMC over him. Both have risk. So I would expect news to have a pretty wild impact on what people do. Yeah, let's do Jaden. Don't start many drafts RB wideout quarterback, but when you get Terry, you get the slide. Might as well. I know, man. I'm expecting pretty similar payout structure. I almost went Adams here, but with me having, again, Terry, I wanted to go Jaden. I'm a little surprised Rome is just holding tight in the 4th. I wouldn't be surprised for excitement to get guys like Adams over him, Metcalf with Rodgers over him. Oh, we didn't. Big news as well. Geno is a Raider. And the rumor is that the Seahawks want to get Sam Darnold, which is like a very lateral move. Yes, Sam Darnold is much younger. I think it's fine for the Seahawks to blow it up. Right? Like that makes a lot of sense to me. Where they're just like a good, not great team. Sure. We'll do Addison. Little division correlation. You are always worried about the suspension, but as long as he's back. Hampton. Really curious who drafts him. Henderson and Judkins, opinions seem to sway. You know, I read Chris Olave here, and I thought that was Chris Godwin. I would have maybe taken Godwin over Addison if I had read that right. Debo is an interesting eval. People seem to be bored with Ken Walker right now, too. I really doubt this. Like, is this a joke? That'd be crazy. I have big doubts. The rumor with Diggs is that there actually is people that, like, there's a market for him. Yeah, I think he's just making things up. Let's do Jaden Reed. There were times last year where Jaden Reed was viewed as a second-round pick in fantasy. I'm still prone to believe Jordan Love was hurt. They've not added any stud wide receivers in free agency. I don't even know who they could add to have us worried about Jaden Reed. So probably going to draft someone, but no, I have 0% regret not maxing out before the combine. It's an insane question, but I love how different people think. Do you regret not 115 the day of contest launch? Derek Carr also got a contract extension with the Saints, so seems like he will officially. Yeah, I mean the Pats they just need to overpay, man. I could see them trading for Ayuk if that is like a realistic thing. Yeah, let's get the golden boy. It's kind of nice on Matthew Golden. Like, it makes the Steelers a little bit less likely to draft wide receiver, which is not really a team we want. We want the Chargers to draft Golden. We want, the Texans to draft Amika Buka. Good question, Michael. Do you think it's bad process to full fade Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, or anyone you don't like unless they fall 6+ spots past ADP? Do you find those strong player takes to be too volatile or a good exploit? Well, there's a lot to unpack with that question. I am going to have an article on kind of what I call the riskiest picks in fantasy football and what to do with them. When you talk about CMC and Henry, we're talking about risky guys who have major downside, but obviously they have huge upside. Huge upside. It's got to flash that troll, right? Where personally, I think the upside for CMC is a lot more of a scarier fade than Derrick Henry. And so I think there's different ways to approach it, right? One could approach it like you're approaching it. I don't like these guys, therefore I'm only taking the past ADP because I want unique combos. Another way to approach it is I don't like these guys, but I recognize they could be great picks. So for me, that was like a guy like Saquon last year. So I'm going to try to take them together. I'm going to try to embrace as much risk as possible on a certain team, right? All of the guys with downside but upside. In general, fading expensive picks obviously is volatile. You're going to be really happy some years. You're going to be really upset some years. And, it's pretty like people are typically pretty results oriented there. Yeah. Jaylen Warren, a third running back. Why not? Still a fun one to me. If he is Rodgers running back, that's actually really good for Warren. He got second round tender, so he almost assuredly will be back with them. Just needs to dodge a guy that's going to get a huge workload, which, you would think the Steelers would draft someone with Najee leaving, but who knows? So yeah, I hope that happens. In general, Michael, fades are easier too, right? Like most players in fantasy football are not league winners, so a fade is not going to hurt you in general. I've had some big success with expensive fades in many years. But there's not, I don't look at a ton of guys in the first and second rounds, and I'm like, I want nothing to do with them. If you made me fade a second round pick, it would be Henry pretty easily. I've yet to take him. I'm sure I will, though. If you made me fade a first round pick, I don't want to fade anyone, but with the current quarterback concerns, it would be Neighbors. But obviously you could see how that fails, where it's like anyone can throw 10 balls to Neighbors. And he's obviously like, if Stafford was with Neighbors, I would view him as like the 106. So let's do Jordan Love too. Second final quarterback, a 2-3-4. I think this is a pretty bad fade. I don't see any reason to fade him. Well, obviously the reason why CMC's ADP is where it is they are worried that he won't play the whole season. So it has nothing to do with him not having a huge ceiling, but they're concerned that he could play 5 games. And when you fade him for like a wide receiver, you can win in multiple ways where you could just say, well, hey, all these running backs are good values, so they don't get gapped as much by CMC as Nico gaps Khalil Shakir or as Amon Ross St. Brown gaps Jacoby Myers, right? So there's many ways to get there. Yeah, I mean, in general, it's a variance question, Michael. If you wanted to draft the same exact team of players every single 150 drafts, obviously your downside is mega low, $0 returned. Your upside is that you chop the contest with yourself 150 times or whatever, right? So, but yes, mixing is generally safe. I think, like someone like Derrick Henry and CMC, it would not be surprising for either of those teams to draft a running back somewhat high. Yeah, I don't have a ton of Tyreek yet either, but he was hurt, so who knows? Well, not everyone is fearful of that. Some people are afraid that CMC won't play many games, and other people think it's a gift. Opinions are all over the place on Travis Hunter, but if we get 50% snaps at wide receiver, seems like a great guy to take. I've only gotten the 101 like twice, so unfortunately, after many years in a row, I'm not going to be able to just hitch my wagon to Jamar Chase. The market's caught on. I would not give the market that much credit, playmaker. So this feels like a pretty good balance build where it's like I'm done at quarterback. I have 3 running backs that honestly I could stop at 4 if I wanted. I'll probably go 5. I feel pretty good about this 5 wide receivers. Gonna get some tight ends in the mix. Let's go Kincaid this time. Rumor is Dallas Goedert could be traded. I don't know who would trade for him though. Let's think. The Pats have some familiarity with Goddard. The Bears would be a good landing spot, but not sure they would. The Broncos, they'd probably just sign Evan Engram. That's the thing is like probably not great for Goddard that he's going to get traded. Let's see if we're getting any more news here. Patriots apparently offered more money to Chris Godwin. Pats are signing a corner. See, that's like, that's the worst outcome for the Pats is if Vrabel says this is the year where we're just building a good defense. That is, I think, backwards of how you should do it. Obviously, they have the 4th pick in the draft. So Travis Hunter, I mean, at this point, if he lands with the Patriots, I wouldn't say Vrabel is a great two-way guy, but he, he's almost got to play wide receiver. It's a bummer that we didn't get like DK Metcalf with Justin Herbert. Yeah. We'll let the fear go to our benefit. With Kincaid and Goddard, I can comfortably stop at 2 if I wanted. Tootin, I think this is an appropriate range for him. I get like, even if Goddard got traded to like the Panthers, you could see that working. Might be good for his fantasy value that he gets away from AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. Ravens, a Mark Andrews replacement. 100% he's draftable. Really wide range on Richardson. Let's go Wicks to pair with Jordan Love. Think he is, currently both him and Dobbs are minor winners. I could see a team like the Rams going for Evan Engram, going for Dallas Goedert, going for Mark Andrews. Like, I think the Rams should be pushing the chips in the middle pretty much. There's not that many good teams in the NFC. They're one of them. I didn't take Dobbs, but Golden with the Packers, that'd be fun. Getting some division correlation in this team. Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit. Possibly Jaden and Goddard. Loveland is a big wide receiver, basically. Was quite bad on contested catches, though. I know. Passed on him. That is a bit of news I didn't touch on. Tutu Atwell got $10 million. I mean, amazing for him. He's a defensible pairing with Stafford late in drafts. He's Calvin Austin-y. The hope with division correlation is that you are getting playoff stacks. Yeah, I'll take a third tight end. Obviously, Godwin returning to the Bucs. It's not great for Otton, but you still have some nice touchdown upside being a tight end in the Bucs. Baker's going to throw a bunch of touchdowns every year. Good O-line. So, feel like you have a really good tight end room when you have Kincaid, Goddard, and Otton. Cole Kmet, yeah, he's in the Kate Otten range, right? Like, he feels pretty good too. Freiermuth, Kmet, Otten, he's like kind of like the tail end of the tight end group. Hunter Henry, maybe. Gesicki, Strange, those guys feel good too. Kind of go up in my... Gesicki got some nice money from the Bengals. He's a little capped, but... Let's see. Ollie Gordon, he's a little bit of a loser from the combine. Let's do Alec Pierce. Big play Pierce. Some teammate correlation with Jonathan Taylor. You get the right quarterback with Pierce, as we saw last year, can have a great year. I don't think Pat Freiermuth is good enough to say he's a move up. Yeah, I'll do another one after this. Looks like Panthers are getting the number one free agent, Milton Williams, the D tackle from the Eagles. Let's see what other news we're getting here. A lot of guys chose to stay with their teams. Bears got a center. Chiefs got a tackle. Khalil Mack returned. Right, yeah. Like a lot of guys like Khalil Mack, etc., they just returned to their team. Yeah, said that earlier. I don't think they're getting Tet, but could. We're going to do Jordan Mason. The hope is that someone trades for him. Feels like a pretty good RB4 on this team. So we have a 2-4-7-3 cooking. Jaden and Love, done. Gibbs, JT, Warren, Mason, Terry, Addison, Reed, Matthew Golden, Travis Hunter, Wicks, Pierce, Kincaid, Goddard, Otten, done. So like wide receiver, we're either already like dead or pretty good room. Probably go one more running back and dump the last three and wide out. Yeah, my rankings are for the summer. So pretty much what I value them at. $100 for a year. And it just gives you some bonus if you want to do the rest. If you just want to do the summer, go ahead for the summer. Honestly, I think they're undervalued, but it's just what I have them priced at. Why not? Let's just rip Elijah Mitchell here. Get other people way more excited about him. Do I want to be doing this a lot? No. Do I kind of want other people to just start thinking like, damn, Chesley just took Elijah Mitchell there. I got to take him in the 14th now. And I mean, Mitchell, if he gets enough run with the Chiefs, he's obviously going to be a good pick. He's like Keaton Mitchell-y. I mean, I don't know. All bets are off. Kendre Miller goes, right? Like the running backs, it's like Roschon, Lloyd, Shipley, Mitchell, Gibson, Cam Akers. Like they're all, I think Sean Tucker is a pretty decent bet. I'll have him ranked soon. And then it's like a lot of guys who probably won't be contributing in the NFL. So why not? Good afternoon, GA. Yeah, seeming like the Jets have a good shot at Justin Fields. Steelers have a good shot at Aaron Rodgers. This is a classic. The grass is always greener. Mostert have anything left in the tank? I was looking at him too. I mean, like, he's a defensible dude. He's 34 though, so I think he'll probably get a cheap contract somewhere. I wouldn't say a $3.5 million free agent running back is going to stop any team from doing anything. So you can call Pacheco a slight winner. Maybe he is. But in general, what teams do is they like the player, in this case, Elijah Mitchell. They, Whittington, a big loser, obviously. Someone took Darius Slayton, man. That's my guy. Let's do Diami Brown. So they like Mitchell. It was cheap. And then on draft day, if there's a running back they like in the second or third round and they think he's the best player, they're going to take him anyways. You're not going to let a guy like Elijah Mitchell stop you from taking some running back you love in the draft. I mean, this could be the case. You could see like the 49ers, everybody getting hurt. He's okay to mix in. Need to get a water after this. I think pretty decent for both. Falcons said they're not going to trade Kirk Cousins. I disagree with them. Yeah, pretty good value on Darnold. But teams are filling up, you know. Okay, we have the Giants left. We have the Titans. We have the Browns. All these teams have high draft picks. Sounds like the Steelers are going Rodgers and the Jets are going Fields. Now, in the Steelers' case, I could see them drafting Jackson Dart with Rodgers. Let's go Jalen Lane. He's got some juice to him. Seattle, we're assuming that Darnold's going there. At least I am. So what makes or breaks your draft? Did you take the right cheapy wide receiver? Someone told me Ray McLeod was a free agent. He is not. He has one more year. When I drafted him last time on stream. Yeah, we're getting a lot of defensive guys. DJ Reed to the Lions. Does seem like Twitter's mostly back up. Seems like Justin Fields won't sign with the Steelers unless they promise him. I just don't think he has that much bargaining power. What are we doing here? Let's take Mike Williams. Free agent, healthy, probably a 0. Only 30, fully healthy now. I could see him signing on somewhere. He is he's a free agent. So, yeah, I agree. All right, I'm jumping in this next one. This team finished up Jaden and Love, Gibbs, JT, Warren, Mason, Mitchell, Terry, Addison, Reed, Golden, Hunter, Wicks, Pierce, Dami Brown, Jalen Lane, Mike Williams. Who knows what we're getting out of this group? Kincaid, Goddard, Cade Otten. Come on, man. All right. I'll be right back and get in the water. Another back half. Thanks for holding with me. Be sure to like, subscribe, join the Discord, links below. Check out beatbestball.com for rankings. Again, I'll have DraftKings rankings this week. They dropped their contest, and I'll have an update. It is underwhelming. It's a little bit better for the Steelers in a couple ways. Number one, Rodgers for Fields, that is. Rodgers doesn't count against the comp pick formula because he was released. and the Steelers would get a comp pick for Fields signing elsewhere. So it's a good way to like soft tank. You get a bunch of picks. You go for a year with Rodgers, who I think is like offers more winning chances than Fields. And then you see how it goes with him and Metcalf and everyone, and you got a bunch of picks, and you don't have Rodgers saying, "I'm not signing if you draft someone." It's possible, Dave. He's most likely just a downfield guy. I've not been taking a ton, but it's possible. I don't think he's like a terrible pick. Yeah, let's go Amon-Ra. Everyone's bored with the Sun God. Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of fooling ourselves if we think Fields has any future upside. Like he's gonna develop into a 10-year guy. I mean, who knows, right? Like Geno Smith did, so I guess anyone could. Let's go CMC. Getting that Niner Lion last year correlation. Yeah, he's defensible in any pick. I mean, the idea with Fields with the Jets is that the Jets just like play defense, run the ball, have Fields out there, but their defense is not even as good anymore. See, a lot of defensive guys are signing. I mean, you're just simply hoping that Rodgers signed with the Steelers at this point. I don't think DK Metcalf is not a killer blow for Pickens. 2 wide receivers can exist in an offense, right? Arguably, it helps him if he draws defensive attention. Yeah, it is possible I have wide receiver 1 and RB1 on the same team. Right? Amon-Ra, CMC. I don't think McMillan's dead. Small hit to his value. Look, we don't know just because Godwin got paid. Maybe they're counting on Godwin to be something later half of the season. And if that's the case and McMillan shows well in the first half of the season, he's not going to just go to 0. So, hey, man, appreciate you, Devin the dude. Thanks for the super chat. Hopefully we get some more breaking news while I'm doing this stream. There's not day 1 of free agency, usually the stud sign. So it's unlikely we're going to get the J.K. Dobbins contract, the Darius Slayton contract, kind of like these tier 2, tier 3 guys. We're probably just not getting that. You do wonder after DK Metcalf got $150 million or whatever, are the Bengals going to be able to afford T. Higgins? Let's do Josh Allen. QB1, RB1, wide receiver 1. We're collecting the infinity zones. Yeah, a lot of ways for McMillan to get there. Godwin is still hurt. Mike Evans is old. I do think the Bills are going to sign someone as they like. That's kind of the reason why they extended Josh Allen and everything. This seems not good to me, but defensible. I mean, there's a lot of. I could go Davante Adams right now. I could go. Let's do the Cook thing though. The hope for Cook is that you get both. Like you get last year's rushing numbers, which was 16 touchdowns, but you get the year before receiving numbers, which was 500, 450 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. Like if you combine those two things, basically he lost 5, 20, 25. He lost like 40 points receiving from 23 to 24. If you keep this steady and give it to him, that's like 300 points. I don't think it's that likely because this is obviously pretty insane. 200 rushing attempts, 1,000 yards, 16 touchdowns. But yeah, the Allen and Cook thing, it feels comfy. Why not? I don't know why people are saying this. That just seems incredibly unlikely to me. You're not the first to say that. I don't see Diggs. Yeah, I don't know. I see like 5 more teams more likely. Unless like Diggs like really hated his time and really likes like that just seems really bizarre. He doesn't seem like a type of guy to go backwards, you know? Diggs in Arizona, I'd be okay with that. I don't think it'd be great for him because of Trey McBride. Diggs is in that tier 2 of guys. Diggs to the Patriots. Yeah, the big thing is does he want to play there? Like I don't know. Vrabel, Diggs, does that fit? I could see Diggs with the Chargers. I think someone said Diggs is dating Cardi B, who is a Chargers fan. So there's your loose TMZ connection. I mean, maybe true. I honestly think the Bills are one of the least likely teams to sign Diggs. Because it would be weird just drama wise. We got it all, man. Tough. Why not? QB1, RB1 and 2, wide receiver 1, and tight end 1. It's really hard for me to pass on Olave and Waddle, but some fun teammate pairings. 2 Niners guys, 2 Bills guys. Yeah, it literally might be last. And we're not going to do Jennings. We're not doing 3 Niners. Let's do Jaden Reed. Kind of like getting unique on a guy like Jaden Reed. Almost always is picked in this band. So just inherently not paired with this side of the board as much. You get some division correlation with the Lions guys. He obviously has a huge ceiling. Yeah, that's the thing with guys like Kittle, Kamara, David Montgomery, a lot of guys like that where it's like we're just kind of bored with them. We're like, okay, yeah, we could have that. Or we could have the mystery box of Travion Henderson. And people like mystery boxes, you know? I don't think so. Najee news? What's the Najee news? It's not going to be the Chiefs, I think, if with Mitchell. I've been a Najee hater. Oh, that's not news, man. Come on. Saying goodbye to Steelers teammates? We already knew that. Twitter seems a little down again for me. Thanks, Elon. Yeah, we all love the mystery box, man. That's why GT's here, right? Like, see? This man loves a mystery box. Is this a report or is this an opinion, Bobby? We need to know on days like this because this is a day where a lot of news comes and it kind of feels like you're tweeting an opinion. I could see many people like that. James Conner also in the box of guys who are like, yeah, we're bored. I can't get Twitter to load anymore, so. Mystery box for sure. Yeah, I mean, Najee is not a tier 1 free agent, so it's unlikely he gets signed today. Really, dude? We would have done Shakir, obviously. So, yeah, I do think McMillan will get punished in the market. Should he, though? I'm taking him anyways. I don't care. He's going to slide a little bit, but, like, I don't care. I just want guys who have big playabilities. I need wide receivers. He scored 8 touchdowns last year. Like, him versus Downs, pretty close. We're going to reach on Purdy. Because this is, like, the range where it's all quarterbacks and stuff anyways. So, I mean, Purdy might have been here. Could have gotten, like, Warren and tried to got Purdy past ADP. But we're just going to take Purdy, be done at quarterback. And we probably need to take 2 wide receivers anyways here. So, yeah, I mean, Najee should have said goodbye to his teammates a long time ago. Guys, don't ever interrupt with news about Najee saying goodbye again. Terrible, terrible. Come on. Not on free agent day. And this is what makes the Purdy pick totally fine, because it goes Mahomes, Purdy, Mayfield, Kyler, Goff, Caleb. Like they're all the same. Yeah, I could have gone Goff too. This wasn't sniped. This guy did Goff and JMO. Are you the Twizzler thinking you were going to get him here? The Twizzler. I feel like Jonu's pretty undervalued. The Twizzler reveals himself. Oh, we're already getting the people saying that Davante Adams is going to outproduce Puka Nacua. Day one. Outside of injury, I don't think that's realistic. Yeah, Gene T to the Bears feeling more and more likely with the O-line. See, and if I passed on Purdy here, hoping I get one of Purdy, Goff, or Love, I simply didn't. they all went. Drafts go like this, the quarterback run. Not on this day, guys. Come on now. Yeah, this used to be the range where I would just take Aaron Jones, but now he's creeping a little bit up. That is the lamest tweet. Josina Anderson. Najee Harris began some goodbyes to Steelers teammates. That is some down bad news tweeting. Sure. I'm a little bit worried about Shaheed health, but meniscus, not as bad as other injuries. Big play, back with Carr, past ADP. Yeah, I mean, he's obviously way closer to done than anything else. And why not? We'll take the stab on Keon. It still feels like kind of bad taking Keon over some of these guys, but you take Josh Allen. Keon's big games are pretty correlated with Allen having a good passing day. You know, like, still think we're hoping for Keon to have like 60-yard touchdowns. And in a vacuum, I prefer Christian Kirk over him, but you could see the year 2 leap too. So we got Allen and Purdy, CMC and Cook, Amon-Ra, Jaden Reed, McMillan, Shaheed, Coleman, Kittle. So these 3 dudes, honestly, Reed too. You're just hoping for big games from all these guys. You got Mr. Consistent in Amon-Ra. You got big play tight end. You could see it working. Some stacks. Lots of people are just actively not stacking, and I think, again, it's a huge mistake in the context of this contest where it is so top heavy that if you are not doing well when you get to the finals, you might as well not play. And so you just got to give yourself chances to actually win. Where it's like when you just take the naked quarterback, which no one's really doing here. Yeah, honestly, everyone is stacked pretty much. Literally everyone except for the Daniels drafter, which is one of the few quarterbacks you can get away with it. But stacked. Actually, is it? Yeah, he's stacked. So we're in a rare draft where everyone's stacking. But you'll get in some drafts where no one is stacking. Well, some people were saying the Milton. I mean, I don't know how old this news is. Well, this was round 10. But, yeah, I mean, Keon's got to dodge some things. He's got to dodge a highly drafted rookie. Shakir is pretty target dominant. Definitely seems like Kincaid was just hurt last year, and he could be target dominant. Keon was pretty much a big play guy. So probably need some running backs. I think we'll take Kincaid here. Kittle, Kincaid, Allen Purdy, CMC Cook. Wouldn't want to do this every draft, but seems pretty fun. Highly correlated. I think 3 teammates is totally acceptable too, right? It's not too much. Several of them are pretty cheap. Tootin goes. Let's go Rico Dowdle. He's obviously cheap because we don't know what his deal is right now. Could land back with Dallas. Seems like Gene T will be going to the Raiders, the Bears, the Cowboys. So maybe the Cowboys sign Dowdle and hope to get Gene T, and then they don't, and they're stuck with Dowdle. See, that would be pretty reactionary. I mean, I don't know. There's not a huge difference between the 12th pick and the 20th pick in a draft, but if they wanted to go Gene T and then they're like, whatever, we'll just take our second ranked running back, unless they think Hampton is worth the 12th overall pick in the draft, I don't think they should do that. I don't think anyone thinks Hampton is better than Gene T. The only people saying that are people who want clicks or teams that can't get Gene T and they want him to fall, or teams that just want to pump up a wide receiver's value. I mean, honestly, they could take Tet McMillan if he's still there. Dallas needs another weapon. Jake Ferguson is a perfectly fine, third dude. But you shouldn't be just doing this like CeeDee Lamb and a bag of rice. Rashad White feels a little bit riskier after the Matthew Berry, Sean Tucker love. I don't think he'd get traded, but it would be nice if he did. Trade him to the Jags. Really nice price for these guys on Dak and Trevor. Quentin Johnson survived some. He survived DK Metcalf. He survived Davante Adams. So he survived some stuff so far. Yeah, we'll do Wicks. Why not? Again, I wouldn't think Christian Watson's going to be a big part of the plans. I mean, I think you could say that about any player, though. I don't know. Yeah. Hold on a moment. He'll be gone. I mean, Hampton's my no doubt favorite guy just because I'm assuming that he's a top 20 pick in the draft. If that doesn't happen, then I don't feel as good about it. I've yet to take Jalen Coker, so let's do that now. I mean, he was good. He was like quite good for stretches last year, but I've yet to take him because he has risk, right? You know, Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, year 2. Seems like they're live to add someone. So we see guys like this disappear all the time. But no, will be like, I will be weighing in quite heavily where team players land. You know, you don't want to be crazy there, but you know, if Hampton lands with a good team and it's just him, wheels up. If Hampton lands with CMC, that's not great, right? Which it's the Niners. They could do that. They could do that any year. The Rams, they could do that. These teams love to pretend they're smarter than everyone. Kyron is definitely in that bucket of guys we're just bored with. He's going cheaper than he did last year. He's got to dodge the draft, right? I think it's totally fine to go Bijan Algier, especially this is the 14th round. So, right, like I totally could have done that with Ray Davis. Really? I thought we just saw that he was signed to the Patriots. I mean, to the Panthers. Again, I can't get Twitter to load, so I'll take your word on it. I mean, that's a good get for them, but also him and Barmore together, Christian Gonzalez, they're building a good D. But it's like the worry for me is that, you know, they're doing like let's build the defense this year, offense next year. Yeah, are we sure Belichick's not still there? I don't know. This was the concern with signing Vrabel in the first place. Is it risky to pay DK Metcalf that money? Yeah. But, I mean, it wasn't risky to pay Christian Kirk, dude. Just go get Chris. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing not going to get him? How did you not outbid the Chiefs for Hollywood Brown? Dang. One pick before me. Let's do Jordan Mason. All these guys were good last year. He could totally be a guy we're bored with, but is a smash. I mean, yeah, like if in some senses, this is how you can win a Super Bowl. You build an elite defense, then you hit the offense, it all comes together. I think going 30% of any player in the third round is risky. You're fading some good players. He's definitely a good player. I don't think you want Justin Fields there as far as your nut outcome. Let's do Braylon Allen. Some division correlation. He has a wide range, but like I think Rodgers is typically kind of good for running backs because he checks it down to him. Eckler, Braylon Allen, Javonte Williams. This is all like an eye of the beholder. Commanders are obviously very live to add a running back in the draft. So I have 4 more picks. Done at quarterback. I am maybe done at tight end. I might add a third. I'm probably done at running back. I might add a 6th. I need some more wideouts for sure. So we're in good position to go best player available. Only thing for sure this team needs is wideout. Definitely not going another quarterback. Kittle and Kincaid is a fun pairing where it's like Kittle has the highest weekly ceiling at tight end. And your hope for Kincaid is that he's healthy, another year older, and he's target dominant, which he was last year. He just, again, got hurt. Sounds like the Bills are going to invest in their defense. Probably not great. Strange was probably the only guy I would have gone third tight end, so probably just going to stop at 2 tight ends. Show me a team that doesn't need Darius Slayton. I mean, if he lands with New England, so yes, Milton Williams is with them. is with the Patriots, that is. Let's see if any other news came in. $26 million per year. Patriots are paying a lot of money to defenders. They overpaid for Harold Landry a little bit. Let's get some more division correlation with the Bills. Getting a Dolphin, getting a Jet. Patriots players are free. So Williams officially with the Pats. Great player, right? Good signing. But where's the offensive help? Panthers got a safety. Najee Harris said goodbye. Vikings got a corner. Lions got a good deal on DJ Reed, the corner. Morgan Moses to the Pats. Tackle. Man, Pats got Carlton Davis, Milton Williams, and Harold Landry on the defensive side so far. Their defense was really bad last year, so I mean, you try to get another O-lineman, I guess, and then you just strictly draft offensive players. Could work. You buy your defense. Not much other news than that. Typically, like, day one of free agency is for the bad teams that have a lot of cap space. So in this case, the Patriots, right? Like, they get to sign all the tier one guys. And then you typically see the good teams, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, etc. They wade through the value. They wait for guys' asking price to drop a little bit, and they scoop up some good value. All right. We'll do one more gross. We'll get a Patriot for a division correlation, Antonio Gibson. What's his contract? I think he has another year or two. Yeah. I mean, he's drawing very live to get replaced, but he will be a Patriot. Horton, there's some buzz about him. This is probably not always going to work, though. Let's do Nick Westbrook. Mr. 9, touchdowns of 4, 3, 3, and 9. You get 6 touchdowns from him. That's cooking for a last round pick. So we got Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, CMC, James Cook, Rico Dowd, Jordan Mason, Braylon Allen, Antonio Gibson, Amon-Ra, Jaden Reed, McMillan, Shaheed, Keon, Wicks, Coker, Slayton, Malik Washington, Westbrook Akine, Kittle, Kincaid. When you start your draft with wide receiver, RB, QB, RB, tight end, you never feel that great about the wide receiver room, no matter how many dudes you throw at it. But You could see it working. Not my favorite build, but maybe takes home the bacon. Appreciate you folks being here. Be sure to like, subscribe. Link to join my Discord is below in the YouTube description. I will have ranking updates this week and DraftKings rankings coming on the site for beatbestball.com subscribers. Enjoy your days. Hopefully we get some more exciting NFL news to talk about soon. Peace.